Hi, I'm Jamie Ivey. I am co-owner of Ivey Design Group here in Richmond, Virginia, and my side of the firm does residential interior design. My husband is co-owner. He does yacht design and product design. I didn't think too much about interior design as a career. Grew up in the 80s and 90s, and it just wasn't as popular as it is now. That said, I did rearrange my bedroom. Probably every which way you could put my bed in my bedroom, I did, but I never really thought of it as a career. And so I got my engineering degree at Virginia Tech. I don't know why, but I did. And then I moved to New York City to do IT consulting because I did not enjoy engineering. And when I moved to New York City, that is where I found interior design. We were going to nightclubs and bars and restaurants, and I had friends visit and they would stay at a hotel, and we'd go to the hotel lobbies, museums, and just the whole world opened up to me of art and culture and design and architecture. And from there, it was like, whoa, people do this. This is a career. And then after 7 years, I finally was like, what am I doing with my life? I don't want to do this anymore. So I went back to Virginia Tech and got my interior design degree, and it was just like the best decision I ever made. I met my now husband, and yeah, so once we graduated, we moved to Southern California and worked for a large hospitality firm and did that for 4 years. And then we moved back to Virginia and we started our company, and I did a little bit of hospitality, and then I moved into residential, and then that's where I really found my true passion. I have friends who do strictly commercial. They work at, the Genslers and the Baskervilles and the big firms, and they love that. And I did a couple internships doing like corporate office design, and really quickly was like, nope, I don't like that. I don't like working in a corporate office, so I don't want to design those. So I knew that was out. Hospitality was my first passion. That's really where I found interior design. So I really thought that's what I would do. And working at a large hospitality firm, it was kind of glamorous. You got to design these amazing grand spaces, these 5-star hotels, and it was fun, but the deadlines were hard. They were fast. Projects took forever. I mean, I had friends that were doing commercial spaces, and their portfolio, 2 years out of school, they had done 5 or 6. And I'm like, oh, we're just still in the design phase of this hotel 2 years later. I had nothing to show for it. And then it was kind of impersonal because you're designing for everyone. You're really designing for no one, really. I mean, it's like universal design, which, there's something to be said about designing something that thousands of people will see. I get that. But once I did my first residential project, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm designing for this specific person. I really get to know these people. There's a little bit of voyeurism in me, right? How they live, and it's like, it was just like you created these like relationships that are still lasting years later. I just love it. And you're like changing their lives. The challenge for me lately, and I don't know if this is a challenge for very well-established designers who are only working on whole home projects, but as somebody who takes on, whole home new builds to a couple rooms, in the residential world, there's a wide variety of contractor types in the residential world. So we're working on a few new construction homes, and the contractors, the builders, they're amazing. They've got somebody whose only job is cost estimation. Their only job is the selections coordinator, making sure they're following our schedules, asking questions, everything's getting ordered when it needs to. Somebody whose job is to be on site every day to make sure that everything's going the way it needs to. And it makes our job so easy. Then we have projects where it's a guy who's doing estimates on a pencil and paper in his truck. Does he look at the drawings? Don't know, right? Or they've got trades that are going rogue, and it's like, so that's just been a challenge for us is how, sometimes I've dealt with 4 different contractors yesterday, each with varying levels of types of how they work. It really depends on the client and the project. So in the beginning, I would say we were doing neutrals because that's what most people are comfortable with. And I had one client, my Modern in the Woods client, and she loved color. And I did a little bit of it, but it was a little neutral. And kind of about halfway through the project, especially when we got to the furniture, she was like, "This is so beautiful, Jamie, but I need it pumped up." And I was like, "Okay, all right." It was like she had to kind of push me out of that. And I was like, "Okay, that's great. I just thought that's what everybody likes. That's what you see all over Instagram is neutrals, neutrals." And so we did. And once we pumped it up, I was like, okay, this is fun, right? I was like, I like this. And so that got photographed and got some press. And so then people were coming to us because they knew we could do it. I like varied color. So you'll notice I don't use a ton of pattern, but when I do, like the pattern has to have a lot of color in it. So like I don't enjoy there's a lot of patterns in fabrics that where it's like the back is white, right? And then it's like one color. It's like light blue and white or pink and white or green and white. And it's like, it's fine, but I love, floral patterns, but it's got 17 different colors in it, right? And it's great because then you can just pull from, that's like your starting off point. And then you can pull a whole scheme. And then if you add something a year down the road, it's not gonna be like, oh, but it doesn't fit, right? It's everything in here is lime or everything in here is green. And you're like, it can be whatever. Locally, we have been able to distinguish ourselves because we aren't the Southern traditional style. And so that is the popular style here. And there's people here that do it beautifully, like really high end, really well done. I didn't grow up with that, and I don't think I could do it as well as they can. So I just didn't even try. So we've kind of distinguished ourselves as being somebody that can do a higher end design, but that's more contemporary and more modern. It's definitely not standard here. We're not, I'd say trendy. I know that probably hurts our Instagram following because we're not doing the thing that's super popular right now, and that's fine. I want to do something different every time, not just for the sake of being different, but just because I feel like if I'm doing something that's all over Pinterest and Instagram, they can kind of do that themselves. You can go into a big box store and get that look, and it's really not that hard, right? So people come to us to do something that they don't even know what they're going to get, really. It's like they kind of know, but not really. And that's so, they're paying good money for that. So we want to give them something that's different, that doesn't look like their neighbors. This is the eternal question, is to be successful, especially in America, it's like grow. You've got to get bigger. And so I'm always like, okay, I'm going to get a small team. I'm going to have a few senior designers and then junior designers under them. And then I'm going to have an intern every summer. And I'm like, hold on, I like leading, but I actually really don't enjoy day-to-day employee management. It's kind of stresses me out. I'm not a micromanager. I kind of just like, you go figure it out. I don't know if it's the Gen Xer in me, but I'm just like, you don't need some hand holding, just go. So I don't want that, because then you're spending your whole day managing people and they're doing the design. I want to do the design, right? So, and then we're in a small city. I'm not going to have, like, we're never going to grow to a team of 50, right? We're not that big of a city. So I think we're strategically keeping it smaller right now. And then it also means I can kind of cherry pick the projects I want. The bigger your payroll is, the more you have to take on projects that you necessarily don't want to take. One is that I do like neutrals. I think the more I have color in my portfolio, but I do. I'm a neutral girl. I like it. I like both. So, and we do neutral interiors. So that's something surprising. And then two, I'm quite chatty, as you can tell, but I am very introverted. So I like deep connection. I don't like surface level connection, but then I need some serious alone time to kind of recharge.